Hey, everybody, welcome to the Freedom Nation podcast. And it's another of season two's episodes where we're interviewing folks that have actually gotten their Freedom Day. They found a freedom engine that worked and experimented with it and were able to grow their business and get to the point where they were able to check out from whatever job they had. So I have my friend Andrey Kozlov on today. Andrey's out in San Diego, and we were just discussing a little bit about his business and all that. And I think you guys are going to get a kick out of it. Andrey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
I'm glad to have you on here. I can't wait to talk about this. I got a little bit of a preview of this as we were talking before the show, and you're going to love this story. So, Andrey, tell us your story.
Okay,
so today.
Yes. So let's see. I actually, well, like so many other people, I did go to college. So nothing extraordinary there. I did get my bachelor's degree in business and marketing. And I had a series of internships, unpaid, paid internships, and then full-time positions. I actually specialize in digital marketing, which kind of helped me transform my skills to my current business. But I started with my digital marketing jobs. There are lots of deadlines, as I'm sure many of you guys can relate to that. Lots of stress, lots of deadlines. And my first child was born relatively recently. I was pretty underpaid, in my opinion, at the company where I worked at. So I knew I just had to make the change. I had to take things into my own hands. So I was researching ways to make money online. I actually started selling t-shirts online. So I did run Facebook ads. I did make a few sales, but I spent way too much money on ads. So I was mostly unprofitable or breaking even. So that didn't kind of work out. So I then tried something else. I did an online dating business. So I managed people's online dating profiles until the time where those online dating platforms started banning people who let other people do it for them. So that was a fun thing.
That is the ultimate of laziness in dating, when you can't even manage your own profile.
Well, at that time, there was a demand for that service, but unfortunately, it was not for a very long time.
I have made my life in many jobs working for lazy people, so that's awesome.
But, I guess it all worked out in the end, because it actually led me to my next business venture, which was and is e-commerce. And that was another thing that I like doing. I had so many things at my place, so I started selling them on Facebook Marketplace. I did not make any profit because, it was used things. But at that time, my brain was not wired in an immediate way to identify an opportunity. But what I was doing instead, I was doing this thing called Shopify dropshipping. And Shopify dropshipping is basically, you have a store, you have an online website, and then you buy typically things from China that gets shipped. And delivery takes like 30 to 60 days, which is the huge issue with that business model. And I was doing that for a little time. I did have some success. I did have some sales, but again, you have just to spend money on ads because no one knows your store. No one cares about your store. So you do have to put a good amount of money upfront in order to make it work. But then one day, my wife actually told me that she saw the buy now button on Facebook Marketplace, and it was not there before. And I didn't have any knowledge that existed too. So that was a little fun fact for me. And this is when actually my dropshipping brain clicked, and I realized that this is finally this amazing opportunity for, a dropshipper to list as many items as one desires and simply enjoy profit, because you're finally not paying for any ads. Facebook Marketplace gives you all the traffic you want. You just need to simply list. And what I'm doing, I simply find trending items that I believe are in demand, using analytics that I use. And I find those items on eBay, on Walmart, on Amazon, and I resell them mostly on Facebook Marketplace at a higher price point for a markup. So I buy something for like $10 on eBay. I resell it on Facebook Marketplace for $25. And then once another comes, I place the order on eBay. The supplier ships it to the customer, and I keep the $15 difference in my pocket minus the seller fees and my virtual assistant expenses. So I do have a team of 9 people right now, but I started doing that all by myself since July of 2020, and by October 2020, it was actually enough for me to scale and quit my day job and finally claim that Freedom Day. So that was nice, but with Facebook, there are really great scaling opportunities, and if people do it right, they can actually see some good and solid results very quickly.
Now, do they charge now? I know for the longest time they didn't really charge for Facebook Marketplace. Are they charging a transaction charge now, or?
Yeah, so good point. At first they waived those seller fees, but now they do charge 5% seller fee on each sale.
Yeah.
And a fun fact, on Facebook, there are 2 kinds of shops. You can, anyone in the United States can have a personal shop. You just need to open your marketplace app and start listing. That's how you have your personal shop. But then on Facebook, they also have business shops. Okay. And business shops, they don't have any fees until June of this year, actually. So, okay. And we're seeing even more traffic and more orders on business shops, and we're not paying any seller fees there. So we have room to make even more profit and not pay for any ads once again. So that's nice.
Yeah. Well, you always have to understand what Zuckerberg's brain is doing, and it's okay. I want to promote this, so I'm going to give it to you for free for a while, and then the fees will ratchet up over time, and you'll have to find someplace else to do it. But well, that's cool. So tell me a little bit about what that process was like, as you started to, I know you went into it a little bit, but, okay, I've got to go find a product. So what are some of the tools that you use to find those products then?
So you would be surprised, but you can actually find everything that you need on Facebook Marketplace itself. Because if you do open your phone app and you start browsing Marketplace, very often you will see that if you click a listing on Facebook Marketplace, you can see how many units of that listing were sold. So it's very similar to eBay, how on eBay you can exactly see how many units were sold for that particular item. You can see the exact same data on Facebook Marketplace. And as a matter of fact, we do use Facebook Marketplace and eBay therapeutic product research tools to conduct our product research. And both of these tools are free. You don't have to pay anything to use those tools, which is great.
So basically, you can start a business with no inventory.
Yep.
No cost to start it up. You just get it going. All you have to do is understand how the tools work. So I guess the only risk in that business model is you have to trust that the person that you're buying it from is actually going to ship it to your person on time and everything else.
Yes, exactly. There is that. But what we typically do in this process, we definitely look at reviews of that seller who we are buying the item from. Okay. Mostly we buy on eBay, and on eBay you can see feedback for the item, and you can also see feedback of the seller. But we also go one step further, and we try to find that item on Amazon and also see if customers themselves have left the review for the item. So we're actually relying on customer review data to make sure that we are only selling products with at least 4 stars and higher.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, it's way easier, So let me ask you this: what happens? Do you have the ability, if you ship something to them, that they can say, "I don't want it," and send it back?
Yeah, when you actually, because we work with platforms like Amazon, eBay, and Walmart. Okay. Even when you buy on Amazon, eBay, and Walmart, you can return your item for any good reason within a reasonable amount of time frame. So if a buyer wants to return an item, we just go back to Amazon. We find the order of that buyer. We click start a return. We get the return label, send it back to them. He sends it back, and it's a win-win, just like that.
Brilliant. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, you've expanded out at this point to multiple channels. What's the future for you? What else are you kind of working on right now?
Yeah, so I started with Facebook. So I think it's definitely an amazing place to start, because that's where you can acquire this capital to branch out to other channels. But I really love platforms where you don't have to pay for any ads, because I spend so much money on ads personally. So I started with Facebook. I then expanded on eBay, on Amazon, on Etsy, on Mercari. I think that's it. It's definitely, you have to be mindful of all those policies on each platform, because Amazon and Etsy are really strict on drop shipping, for example. Specifically on Etsy, you do need to sell handmade items, which is what Etsy is all about. And on Amazon, you do need authorization of your suppliers. So I have completely different items listed in respect to the platform where I'm selling.
Yeah. We used to have, it was my first real successful business, was we had an Amazon store, and that was the problem that they were starting to get into, which was, okay, we would buy returns. So, when somebody would, or when returns would come back in, there was a liquidator that would just gather them all. And, we'd get them shipped to our house. We'd go through them. Some of them were broken. Some of them were totally fine. And then we would just, literally we'd sell them for pennies on, we'd buy them for pennies on the dollar and sell them for, 50% to 150% markup. So it was awesome. It worked great. But the problem is they started like getting really kitschy about, oh, well, you have to be a registered seller to do this product or put this product up. And it was definitely, you're always chasing your tail around a lot.
Yeah, definitely have to keep up. And especially on Amazon, they get stricter and stricter in terms of seller integrity by year, it seems.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, I'm also working on just investing more into stocks, into crypto. I'm trying to start Airbnb business, hopefully next year or in the next few years, because we are going to travel a little bit to visit my relatives back home in Russia. I'm originally from Russia. So yes, but that is the plan, definitely, to continue expanding my other sales channels, because, you can definitely rely on Facebook, but it's not a very good idea to rely on it 100%, because, you have to diversify. Diversification is always a good practice. And on Facebook, there are glitches that can happen, and account restrictions can happen anytime for good or no good reasons. So there is that.
Let me ask you one quick question about Facebook, because I've used, I guess, the civilian version of Facebook Marketplace. So do you have the ability with your business account, you can basically offer that, you basically can sell every place, correct? Or is it kind of regionalized?
Yeah, with a business account, it's almost identical to the personal, that whenever you list an item, it automatically pushes into Marketplace, except it seems that Facebook has programmed its algorithm to prioritize shops, so the listings go way further up in search results if you have a shop. So naturally, we can sell the exact same product on a personal Marketplace profile and then on a business profile, and almost every single time on a business profile, the same exact listing would outperform the personal profile listing.
And it is automatically, is it shown, nationwide, or do you have to? You have to kind of do like you do with Facebook advertising, where it's like, okay, I want it to be here.
Yeah, when you have a Facebook shop, yes, it automatically pushes the listing nationwide. Nice. Same exact like on personal shop, it's always nationwide with shipping. So except Alaska and Hawaii, people cannot check out and have the item shipped. So keep that in mind.
Yes, very cool. Well, wonderful. Well, let's transition to the fast 5 questions. Can't wait to hear some of your answers here.
Sure.
So, all right. Question number 1. Are we ready?
Let's do it.
All right. You wake up in the morning. Business is totally gone. You have $500 in your pocket, laptop, computer, place to live, food, and clothing. What are you going to do first?
Well, now, because I know that there are such platforms like Facebook Marketplace where you don't have to pay for any ads, I would, again, and that's why I always recommend to other people who I teach this topic, always try to start, especially if you want to start an online business. I think dropshipping is one of the easiest models that you can start with. And especially if you do it on Facebook Marketplace, that's what I would do once again, because you will not have to pay for any ads. All you need to do is be a little bit disciplined and consistent with listing items on a daily basis. And in a matter of time, you will simply see that the more you list, the higher is the chance that you will make a sale. And it will be more of a numbers game at that point because you're not paying for any ads. All you have to do is just list. And then the more you sell, the more capital you have. And then when you can simply expand and expand accordingly. And once hopefully you get to the level where managing orders by yourself is overwhelming, that's when you start hiring a virtual assistant and go from there. But definitely I would once again start with Facebook Marketplace or eBay or Etsy or Mercari. All of those platforms, they do offer free organic traffic. You do not have to pay for any ads. You can if you want to, but it's not necessarily needed. I have not been paid for any ads, so you can do just fine without them. Yeah. That's what I would start
making a living doing it. So yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. What's the biggest business mistake that you've ever made?
Yeah, biggest business mistake was actually when I was traveling for the first time while doing this whole business. And while I was doing this business, Facebook changed a rule where they said that Facebook Marketplace will only, the shipping on Facebook Marketplace will only work if you are located in the United States, which was not the case when I left the country. I specifically asked a Facebook representative if it's fine, and he told me it's fine, but then they changed the rule. So I had to use a VPN, and using a VPN actually led me to my biggest issue, which was an account restriction. And because I had my first account restriction, then I had a consistent series of restrictions after that, because once you get restricted once, you do get restricted every once in a while. And while it's very easy to appeal, it's still annoying because when you are restricted, your listings become invisible. No one can buy from you. So you do lose on revenue, on orders, and it creates a very bad user experience for your customers. So definitely do not use a VPN. If you do want to travel, just leave your computer and use a remote desktop access. That is the easiest and the safest solution if you decide to do it that way. Because I did use a VPN and my payouts and my shop was frozen for almost a month. So that was a pretty stressful period of time.
Good.
So there is that.
Words of wisdom.
Keep that in mind. It's a US only feature.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. You want to know that. All right. All the people that, hey, I want to live all over the world and be a vagabond. Yeah, you better check the rules before you do that.
Yeah, you can do it, but you just have to do it right. You just need to leave your computer to a friend who can look after it.
Absolutely.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
All right. So what is a good book that you would recommend for other entrepreneurs?
You probably have heard this one a million times, but I would still say Poor Dad, Rich Dad. This is the book that has changed my mindset, really. It shifted my mindset to start thinking more outside of the box and start looking for assets that can generate you an income while you're sleeping, which is why in e-commerce, you can do that. It will be manual at first when you start, but once you have a team, the process becomes almost passive because you're making orders while you sleep and you do make that passive income, which was one of the goals that I was inspired by when I read The Poor Dad, Rich Dad, and just investing in general. It really opened my eyes.
That is one of my favorite books. And in going on now almost probably 12 to 1,500 interviews, that is the first time I've heard anybody talk about Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Seriously, I'm very surprised by that statement.
It is literally one of my absolute favorite books of all time, and all the other parts of the series. But
exactly,
it's hilarious. What's a good tool that you use in your business every day? It could be something like an Evernote or something along those lines.
Oh man, I would say I live in Google Sheets. Google Sheets is like everything that we use on a daily basis because I have a team. My team can easily access the Google Sheet, and we have all the data that we need in the Google Sheet. We can see what is selling, what item category is selling, how much money we're all making. Everything is in Google Sheets. I also do have OneNote where I just keep track of some personal notes. and I definitely use calendar. I made the mistake of not organizing my like week, my work week, my day, and I was just scattered by. But I started just forcing myself to use a calendar, and it was a game changer, honestly. Once I started doing that, it was a game changer.
I could not. Well, I mean, I run 4 or 5 different businesses, and
Yeah,
I have people on every continent. So it's like that. It's the only way, it's the only way they keep me in line, because I'm the troublemaker of the group, because I'm the one that's the common link between all these groups. And yeah, without my calendar and without Google Calendar specifically,
exactly.
I couldn't survive any
Yep.
given day. What's a good way for people to get in contact with you, learn a little bit more about the stuff you do? I know you offer some courses on what you do and things like that. Where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, actually, I would say my Instagram would be the best place
Okay.
because I do have a little link in my bio that will direct all of you guys to some helpful resources that I think you guys will find helpful, in my opinion. My Instagram handle is who is Andrey, just 2 Y's at the end, Y for yellow. That's my username, and I do have resources like you mentioned to the course. I do have a YouTube channel where I teach people how to do pretty much the same thing, and I really do find this inspiring, seeing more people quit their jobs and just becoming full-time entrepreneurs and e-commerce dropshippers, whatever they want, just enjoying this amazing, beautiful life, which is, I'm really excited to teach people how to do it.
That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And let me make sure I have that. So it's cool is Andrey with 2 Y's.
Who is Andrey with 2 Y's?
Yep.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, Andrey, thank you so much. I know the audience is just super happy to listen to this. I mean, it's just such a great story. And it's a perfect example of, you didn't have to wait until you're age 65 and retire. You just figured out a different way to do it and made a living doing it. And you keep adjusting and adapting to life. And, you have your freedom day. You can really do what you want from anywhere in the world that you want.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And you have a wonderful day, my friend.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
All right. Let me shut this off for a second here.